What's up, Bulldogs? All right, I just got a question from one of my coaching clients. It's a great question here, and I'll read you most of it. I'll kind of paraphrase it a little bit. But he says, please don't roll your eyes, but how do you determine when to push yourself versus when to slow down? And then how do you actually slow down? How do you be nice to yourself? I've pushed myself my entire life. I don't believe in burning out or slowing down, but honestly, there's been a lot going on lately. And for the first time, I think I might be affected by this quote pressure. I'm currently in bed with a fever, and I think it comes from attempting to doing too much. Besides YouTube, I'm wrapping up a month-long side project. Work is stressful, and I've recently overcome bad addictions. I'm learning new sports, etc. All good stuff, but I don't think I can detect when it's too much and it's building up as stress. Okay, so let's talk about this. When are you doing too much and how can you fix these things? Because maybe you're in this situation, right? I've been in this situation many times. I might even say that I am in this situation. So a lot of the advice I give you on this channel is for me as well as for you, right? Because that's how I coach myself, right? I think that's important to do. Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, how do you know when you're doing too much? How do you slow down, right? So the real key to this, what I have found is this, is that you have to be clear on your focus, and you should have one main focus, one main thing that you're pushing towards, right? I talk about the GAP framework. If you're not familiar with that, I do have some lessons on the GAP framework and how to do that in the Bulldog Mindset membership. There's always a link down below. First month, $7. Go check it out, 200 videos. It'll be well worth your money. But GAP stands for Goal, Aspiration, Process, and it's essentially this idea of setting an aspiration for what you want to accomplish, what most people call a goal, and then from that aspiration, figuring out what the goal is, which is in your direct control, where the aspiration is not necessarily in your direct control, and then the process that gets you there, right? And so just to give you a quick summary on that, a aspiration might be, I want to get 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. A goal might be, I'm going to create 200 high quality videos, and then the process might be, I'm going to do X number of videos per week, right? That's just a quick summation of that. But the idea is that one of these is usually going to last 3 months. So you kind of figure this out and you put all of your focus on that, right? You can think of it as focusing on a metric. The most important part about this is that you have a clearly defined outcome that you're striving for, and you know how to get there, and you know what needs to be done, right? I'll give you another example, right? So I'm doing 75 Hard right now, and I really like the program, 75 Hard. It's nothing magical, right? But you've got to do 2 workouts a day, drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages from a personal development book, take progress pics, no drugs, alcohol, or no alcohol, and stick to a diet, right? That you can decide what it is. So the good thing about that is that it's 75 days, and I know exactly what I need to do. And so I can focus towards that thing. Now, it's not the goal that is completely overarching my entire life, but the point is that it's structured. I know what the plan is. I can show up and do the thing every day. I'm doing my workout in the morning, go to the gym, I go do my run in the afternoon. I know what I have to do. I know what the criteria is because I've defined it ahead of time. It's defined by this program, right? And that's the valuable thing about it. And so it's the same thing with life and with stress. If you know what you're trying to do right now, if you're trying to build a YouTube channel, take all the other things and sideline them. It doesn't mean that you have to completely stop doing them, but dedicate a certain amount of time every day towards that one thing that you're aiming towards. And again, I need to follow my own advice here because I've got a lot of stuff. I've been kind of scattered and not doing that. In fact, right now when I'm recording this video, what I really should be doing is be on my focus time working on my main objective, which is putting out this Rockstar Developer University program that I've been working on, okay? So I do need to follow my own advice, right? But I know what it is, right? And so the thing is that as far as kind of burnout and being stressed out, where that comes from, it doesn't come from working too hard. It comes from not working hard enough, right? It might seem like a contradiction. You might say, oh, well, I am working hard enough. Well, yes, but your focus is scattered. And so you're not working hard enough at one thing. And that's the problem, is that in order for us to feel growth and motivation, we need progress. We need to have wins. We need to be moving forward. And when we are doing multiple things, yes, we might be moving forward, but we're not moving forward enough. And we're also switching tasks, we're switching context. That all leads to stress, right? So here's my prescription. This is what I would say, is really define out what is the goal. Use the GAP framework if you can. Again, Bulldog Mindset membership, if you guys want to check that out. And really, for the next 3 months, set aside a window of time, right? Preferably 2 to 4 hours every single day that you're just focused on that objective and make it clearly defined. Just like 75 Hard is clearly defined, that's what your goals and your process should be, so that you know what needs to be done. You know what needs to be accomplished so that you can start busting it out. right? Systematically doing this thing. That is going to make it so that you're making clear progress on one direction. You have a focus. That's going to make you feel a lot better because it's not the load of work that you're doing. What I have found is that I could be loaded. I could be doing a ton of stuff, but if I have at least one thing that I'm making significant progress in and I adapt to that, right? So for example, right now, my schedule's pretty crazy, right? I wake up at 5 in the morning, basically. I go to the gym for an hour, then I'm working on my focus work for 4 hours. I go and do my run for like an hour or 2 hours in the afternoon, and then I'm still working on all this stuff. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing the 7-5 hard stuff as well. I'm eating one meal a day, right? I've got the YouTube channel, I've got a podcast, I'm working this new program. There's a ton of stuff that I'm doing. My schedule is extremely packed. I'm very, very busy. However, I've adapted to that. I can handle that workload because that is my life, right? And the first week of doing something like that would be a shock to the system, but after a week, after 2 weeks, you're just used to that. I'm working 12, 14-hour days and doing 2 workouts a day, right? So my point is that it's not necessarily the amount or the volume that is going to knock you down. What it is it's not having the focus, it's having to switch between things. And that, if I look at the things that are hurting me and causing me stress, that's what it is. And part of the reason for that is because, especially in the financial sense, when you don't have a clear focus, you're not going to make enough progress to have that security that you know you're getting to the destination, right? When you see progress, you know you're going to get there. And so that's why that is important. And then the second thing is that you need to create sufficient buffer time and sufficient time blocks, right? So whatever tasks that you have planned, right? Definitely planning your week, planning your day is super important. But whatever you have planned out, what you really want to do here is you want to double the time at least that you have planned out for how long it's going to take, because it's probably going to take longer, and then create a buffer on top of that, right? So if you really want to be not stressed out, give yourself plenty of time to do what needs to be done, and the buffer for if things go longer, that you still have plenty of space, right? So for example, let's say that you're making your daily routine and you're like, okay, I'm gonna work out in the morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'm gonna go to the gym, all right, and work out. Well, there's a problem with that, right? Can you see what the problem with that is? You have to drive to the gym, okay? You have to drive back. So if you're thinking you're gonna do an hour-long workout and you schedule it from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., you're gonna be stressed out. Why? Because you could be like, okay, whoa, like you haven't accounted for that time, right? And so you gotta put a little bit of a buffer in there. So if you wanna work out from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., if you want an hour workout in the gym, you probably need to schedule that time from 5:30 to 7:30, if it's 6 to 7 a.m., right? You understand what I'm saying? Or you need to say, I'm gonna do a 30-minute workout, or whatever it is. Like you just need to create enough buffer time in there so that there's a little bit of slack in between the things. It's not that you're going to waste this time. And sometimes that's what we think is like, okay, well, if I create buffer times, if I overestimate things, then I'm just going to waste the time. No, you're going to focus, you're going to work. If you end up getting things done faster and better, that's great. And then maybe at the end of the day, you have a bunch of slack time, and that's great. That's relaxing. That will de-stress you, but you're never in a hurry, right? Move fast, but never be in a hurry. The reason why we're in a hurry is because we have unreasonable expectations on our time, unreasonable expectations. If we can reduce those unreasonable expectations, create plenty of buffer, so there's plenty of time to do the thing and still work hard, still focused, then we don't feel as much of that stress, all right? I wanna make sure I addressed all of this here. So how do you slow down? And the answer is that is the buffer, right? The buffer is how you slow down. And again, cutting things out, focusing. You just have to think about life in terms of phases, right? Because that's where you make the advancements, is in a particular phase or block of life. And if you try to do everything simultaneously, that's where you're gonna get stressed out. You're not gonna make as much progress. But if you say, okay, I'm gonna dedicate this block, it's just like this, okay? Let me give you a real quick example and then we'll wrap up this video. I was talking to a friend of mine and we were talking about building. He was like, oh, your arms are so big, it's like, how can I even build arms like that, right? And I was telling him how essentially, in order to really build a lot of muscle, you're gonna have to get fat, and you're gonna have to do that for 2 years. Yeah, you can incrementally put on muscle and stay lean or whatever, but if you really want to build a physique, a lot of muscle, you need about 2-year bulk. At some period of your life. At any period of your life, you can choose to do that. It's a sacrifice for 2 years. You're gonna hit the gym really hard, you're gonna eat a lot of calories, you're gonna be a little bit fat. You're not gonna get super fat, but you're gonna get fat, right? You're gonna have to gain a lot of weight, and then you're gonna shed that because you're not gonna really gain muscle to the degree that you want unless you gain a whole bunch of weight. That's gonna be the primary factor, right? If I wanted to really, I mean, this would be hard for me to go much past my genetic limit here, but I could probably put on, if I wanted to, really want to, 15 pounds of muscle. Maybe I would have to, I'm at like 240 right now. I'd probably have to get up to like 320 to do that, right? That's what it would take. Like, but if I'm at 320, yeah, I'll probably put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle, right? That's right. Think about it. It makes sense, right? Now, here's the thing. Once you do this, you never have to do this again. Once you have put on a significant amount of muscle, right? Early in my day, I worked really hard, built up my physique. I got a little fat, right? I put on this muscle. It doesn't take much to maintain it. I could literally, for a couple of years, I literally went to the gym 1 time a week for 25 minutes and did 1 set to failure full body workout. That's it. Now, you could do more or whatever, and I've done different variations of it, but I basically, maybe I lost a little bit of muscle, which I gained back immediately once I started hitting it hard again, because I had already had it before, but I can keep that physique, even while running, even while dieting, as long as I have built it. And so there's a lot of things in life like that, right? If you build your YouTube channel, if you do the work to create it, to figure out the structure of it, and spend some deep time figuring out how you're going to create videos and how you're going to do all these things, then that process can kind of go on autopilot, right? You're still going to have to do some work, obviously, but it's a lot less, right? No matter what it is in life, if you spend the time, the focused time to really do the thing and really figure it out and really get it going, then it becomes easier. What happens though, what stresses us out, is that we haven't devoted enough focus time to one thing, and then we've added another thing, and so we've got a lot of inefficient processes in place that we're trying to juggle. And because of that, we never create efficiency in any of those processes, and we're constantly stressed out, right? Again, I'm telling myself the same thing because there's some areas in my life where I've done the same thing, right? Even like I said, just recording this video right now, it's not really part of the system. It's an ad hoc thing because I'm answering this coaching client. So there you have it. By the way, if you guys want coaching, you can always email me at john@bulldogmindset.com, and yeah, definitely check out the membership below. I hope that helps you, and I'll see you tomorrow.